Hi guys, my name is Lexi. I am the owner of Eyelash and Aesthetics Pro Institute. We are a Wisconsin licensed aesthetic school. Today I'm here to teach you all how to pack your state board practical examination kit for the Wisconsin aesthetic licensure. My students really wanted me to do this, so here I am. I'm going to sanitize my hands prior to opening the kit. The reason why, and when you go and do this in person, you also want to make sure that you always sanitize your hand before opening it, because everything inside of the kit is sanitary. So my hands are sanitized, and right now I'm just going to show you how you would pack your kit. So at the very top of my kit, I have 3 garbage bags. I got these paper garbage bags from Whole Foods, and it's pretty much a plastic bag, and then I use a paper bag, and then I use the plastic bag to line it, just so that when I put contents inside of the bag doesn't break or anything like that. So this is a bag for soiled linen, and as you see, it's clearly labeled. You have one for trash and one for items to be disinfected. So I'm gonna start going through my Ziploc bags. I have 2 Ziploc bags that are labeled sanitary supplies. I'm gonna open the bags and kind of go through what's in each of the bags. So first I'm gonna get the bag that has my disinfectant wipes in it, and I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the station off first. Reason why I want to do this is because as I put the products on there, I'm going to be using this stuff, and I want it to be as sanitary as possible. So I'm going to wipe off the spacer. Alright, so for a state board, you are required to have a Ziploc bag. A Ziploc bag with first aid kit in it, okay? So the contents of this bag is Band-Aids. I have a couple pair of gloves, as you see. I also have 4x4s in this bag, as well as 2 biohazardous bags. I also do microblading, so I do have biohazardous bags on hand. However, you do not need to use biohazardous bags. Regular Ziploc bags that are for biohazardous, just in case of a bloodborne pathogen incident during the service. So we have that in our first aid. I also have Antiseptic, as well as hand sanitizer, and all of this goes in my Sanitary Universal Supplies. Now in the other bag, I had to use 2 bags because my bag broke that was bigger, so I had to consolidate to make it work. I have water, and of course the water is used for like the facial treatment part of it. In here I have sanitary disposable. We have some Dixie cups, more gloves, 4x4s, and a few spatulas so I can dispense product, as well as some paper towel, okay? So I'm going to pre-package all of this stuff back into my kit so that it can be nice and neat. And like I said, once again, this is my Sanitary Universal Supplies that I just, with your Sanitary Universal Supplies, that's the first thing that you're gonna need. If you were setting up for a state board and in the process of doing your practical, first, like I said, you'll sanitize your hand, you'll put out your disinfectant bags, and you will make sure that you want to put the side that is labeled out, so that whoever is doing the examination kind of sees that everything is nice and labeled. And then the universal supplies, I pack it at the very top, is because that's what you're gonna need pretty much throughout your whole services of doing the examination. And you keep that out for most of the service, so that's why I pack that closer to the top of my kit. So for client number 1, for the examination, you have to do a facial. And a lot of people get scared when it comes to doing the facial because they're like, hey, I have to do all these steps or whatever. But basically, doing the facial for the examination is not as hard as doing a regular facial. You're not going to be steaming your client in real life. You're not going to be doing extractions or doing all of the protect phase. They just want to make sure that you know how to do those basic contents. I do have the packet of DL Robe Candidate Wisconsin Esthetician with me, and it pretty much goes through everything of what they're going to expect from you and whatnot. So for the first session of the examination, it is focused on your workstation setup, prepping for your clients, stuff like that. So that's what you would do first, is set out. For my students, I'm always going to tell them to do a sanitary setup. So after they do the Lysol wiping or caddy wipes or whatever disinfectant grade wipes you are using, I will have them put a paper towel down and then put all of their sanitary supplies on that paper towel, just so that everything is nice and neat. We're going to go through our facial kit. So what they're looking for the examination, they want you to be able to do cleansing, manual exfoliation, towel steaming massage, as well as a mask. So this is my client number 1 sanitary supplies. It's all labeled nicely. Inside of this smaller bag, I have pretty much my disposables. I have it labeled sanitary, but you do not want to ever label it disposables because it's basically cheating. We have our 4x4s. We have some more sticks in there, some more Dixie cups. In this bag, I also have my facial brushes. I also put in this specific bag my brush for exfoliation. This is to do the exfoliation on the client, manual exfoliation, not chemical. Just trying to think about, and then I do have a pair of gloves in this bag. I decided to pack 2 facial brushes because, you know, during the examination, if you drop one, it's easier to put it in the bag to be disinfected versus, you know, having to go through the whole process of making sure that it is sanitary to use on the client again. So once again, I have Dixie cups, gloves, little spatulas, 4x4s, and my mechanical exfoliator in here. Now in the bigger bag, I have my products. I have a bowl that I can use this for the water or the mask. I use it for water. And then we have a massage medium, which is all clearly labeled too. So you want to make sure everything is clearly labeled once again. Facial cleanser. We have our moisturizer. We have our exfoliant. I have toner. And I have the mask. They just literally want you to cleanse, manual exfoliate, towel steam. So let me put the rest of the stuff in here and then I'll go on because I do have some sanitary linen that's also packed for this facial number 1 client. Because you do need to have sanitary linen so that you're able to drape the client in. You need a head wrap. So in these bags, I have sanitary linen. It has 3 towels and a headband for my facial client as well. But for client number 1, you also need sanitary hot towels. So we have 2 towels that's up in this bag. It says sanitary hot towels. At the moment, they are dry because before we go into the state board, they need to be wet. We're going to wet them prior to going into state board so we can use this as an acting or mock, I should say, hot towel. I brought 2 because, you know, what happens if you drop your towel on the ground? You cannot use that to wipe on a client's face. So I brought 2 just in case. So that pretty much wraps up our client number 1. At that point in the practical, they're going to ask you to like break down your station. They want to be able to see that you know how to practice the correct infection control procedures. Now with the client number 2, it's 2 phases to it in Wisconsin. It is the eyebrow wax and tweezing demonstration, and then after that you have to do a basic makeup application. For client number 2, you do have to re-sanitize like I just said, but with re-sanitizing that also comes more sanitary linen. So you will want to reset up and drape your client and make sure that their hair is not in the way and things of that nature. So we have more sanitary linen. So I have 2 bags total of sanitary linen. Both of those bags contain 3 towels and a headband. Alright, so let's go on to the waxing portion. And this is my first bag for client number 2. It's sanitary waxing supply. In my small bag, and typically in all my small bag, is where I keep my disposable things. So I have 2 pair of gloves, because you know, just in case one breaks or anything like that. I have my tweezers. I have 4x4s. I have wax sticks for the eyebrow waxing, and then I have wax strips for the removal of the wax. In addition to this smaller bag here, I also have some wax remover, and I have my mock wax. So once again, you want to make sure that all of your stuff is labeled properly. Nice and labeled well so they can't say anything to you. Once you wax your client with the state board, they're gonna walk over individually and pretty much say, hey, show me how you wax the eyebrow. Once they tell you that, you wanna make sure that you're demonstrating that waxing in the correct way. And then they will have you go ahead and tweeze the hair. And you know you want to make sure that you tweeze the hair with the direction of that hair growth. Once you go through that part, then they want you to start setting up for your makeup. When you do your makeup portion of it, you do need to dispense the products out of the actual products that it comes in, because that just shows that you are being super sanitary. Here is my last Ziploc bag. In this bag, I have sanitary makeup supplies. We have powder pads, the disposable powder pads so that you can put the powder on, disposable sponges, a pair of gloves in here just in case something goes wrong, a few spatulas so that we can dispose the product. So that's pretty much what that is looking like. Everything needs to look visibly clean. In this bag, the bigger bag for the makeup supplies, I have a palette. We have eyeshadow, foundation, I have mascara, blush. You need to have a pencil sharpener because you want to make sure when you're doing the lip color and stuff like that, eye color, that you're sharpening it to show that you're being sanitary as well. As well as when you're using the mascara, you need to use 2 mascara wands for each time. I have blush in here, lip color, lip liner, eyeliner, and foundation. When it comes to the makeup portion of State Board, they are looking to make sure that your facial supplies are all labeled in English. They're looking for implements of supplies that they're visibly clean. They want you to apply the foundation to the face. Then you're gonna apply the powder, blush, eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, and lip color. They wanna make sure that your clients stay safe and protected, their clothing, so that you're draping them properly and things like that. And then at the end of the service, that you're throwing the things away that are disposable in the right area. Now, one thing that I didn't mention that you need to have in your kit is you need to have a handy dandy mannequin. The reason why you want to have this is because this is going to be your motto. You do want to have a visibly clean one when you go into State Board. I do also tell my students that it's better if you can buy makeup that complements this mannequin, because it'll make it a lot easier for you to blend things. And that pretty much breaks down most of the aesthetic practical examination. There's only one last part that you would have to do that really doesn't involve some of this stuff besides our first aid kit. and that's doing the bloodborne exposure procedure. They want to make sure that in the case of a client bloodborne pathogen incursion where your client starts bleeding in the service, that you are properly sanitizing and protecting your client and yourself from those diseases that can be spread when in contact with blood. I am going to go ahead and pack my bag back up because right now I have all of this content right here, and it needs to go back up in here, and I want it to go back in here in the way that it is easy for me. So typically what I do is I start with my makeup, right? Because makeup, we know, is the last part in the procedure, so, or the examination. So I'm gonna put client number 2 makeup there. I'm gonna put client number 2 waxing supplies there, as well as our sanitary linen. That way I know on this half of my bucket that all of this stuff is for client number 2, okay? So then I go ahead and start putting the stuff for client number 1 back in there. So we have, and I have to put this back in this bag, we have our sanitary facial supplies. I left the disposables out of the bag, so I'm gonna put that back in there. But for client number 1, and we're gonna put that at the very bottom there. We have the 2 hot towels, that's for also client number 1, we're gonna put on this side, as well as our sanitary linen that we're going to put on that side. Now, this is our sanitary universal supplies. This is going to go at the very, very top, considering that the sanitary supplies and the bags, your disinfectant bags, your trash bags, and all of that good stuff, is the first thing that you're going to want to put out. So I put that at the very top like that. Forgot my little mannequin head. Gonna put that on the side. And now my bag is all packed for state board. I always suggest that you pack your bag like a few weeks before if you can. It's better to already be ready than to have to ponder or rush last minute trying to get ready.